All right.
This is kind of an odd bolt. It's got like a shank, like a long cylindrical bit, and then it ends in a smaller bolt so that it can seal properly on the rubber. So there's a washer on top, and then a rubber grommet, I guess you'd call it, just a seal really.
A rubber Wallace and grommet.
Yeah, it's a fucking flangerino. It's a thing.
And that's where we're gonna add the.
Yeah, we're gonna add a little bit of gasket maker to that, so we can make sure she's sealed up. Shouldn't affect the rubber any, but gotta do what you gotta do. You can't have oil leaking out everywhere.
Yeah.
Now the hippies running down the road after you.
Yeah.
So now it is no longer secured. I already expedited the process and took off the other mount for sizing purposes. The mount bolt. And to see if we could get new seals, but they didn't have them in stock, so we're just gonna make these seal.
Exactly right.
That's the way she goes. Whatever floats your gears. So now there's usually a prying point on these, and you'll see it. I'm not sure if this is certainly it, but right here is a nice strong point where it's reinforced on both the top and the bottom.
And the bottom, yeah.
So like if you want to pry it off, don't just go prying it like willy-nilly, or especially on the contact surface, because you might ruin it. But if you put it here, it shouldn't be a tight seal unless someone put some fucking super glue on it, but that's all it takes, just pop like that. And then depending on how much room you have, it'll be a bit of a trick, but with these bikes it ain't so bad. Cables get in the way a little. Maybe a little more than they should. And then it goes out one side or the other. Or sometimes,
At the front.
if you go forward, yeah. I can't remember how I used to do it online.
You're gonna need some help.
No, just need to bend these out of the way. There we are. Maybe not though. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Ah, I see. It's this fucker. There we are. Off in a jiff. Not. And this here, if we look, that's in view and in focus,
Yeah, you're good.
is a rubber seal that has since been compressed to the point where it no longer seals. So out with the old and in with the new.
Right onto the foot peg.
That was a good shot.
Yeah.
We'll get this cleaned up a little bit with some carbon choke cleaner. Better than new. Yeah, so here, how well can you see the head there?
Pretty good.
Oh, perfect. Alright, I'll get a screwdriver and point these out.
I can even zoom in a bit.
Yeah, zoom in on this area here if you can. So these are the rocker mounts, these guys here, rocker arm mounts, and they mount to the cylinder head, which is this guy with the intake and exhaust port on it. So your cylinder isn't actually, doesn't begin, I guess, till down here. So this is where the actual pistons go up and down, and then the seam between this piece here and this piece here is where the head gasket is, and that's where, like, from basically from that seam on up is like, it isn't cylinder anymore. It's, you know, valves and other moving parts, cams. But essentially these rockers, they have like a contact pad in here. You can see this one here, it sits on the camshaft, and the lobes hit the contact pad on the rocker, which pushes up one side, and then law of leverage pushes down on the other side, opposite direction, and depending on their length, different amount of force using leverage. But this has two small intake valves and one large exhaust valve, So which makes it, with a 2-cylinder, makes it 3 valves per cylinder, 6 valves total. So the 6-valve Honda engines would easily outperform, say, like a KZ 440 or older
CR bike.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, or older 2-cylinder models that had only 2 valves, because it has a more accurate intake. So, and it also gets more in. So, yeah. But the play, if you take your hand and you move the rocker arms, this one's snug because the cam is pressing on it. But if you move them, there will be a little bit of play in them. Sometimes you have to rotate the engine to feel it. But that play is what causes the noise, because the valves will tap.
Yeah, which is what mine's doing right now.
Yeah, because they have like a little bit of slop in them. So I'll have to take the side cover off, the non-oil side cover. It's key to know the difference between which side of your engine is wet and which side is not.
Yeah.
So you don't open it and just absolutely accidentally change your oil right in the middle of the garage. So that should be 10 mil bolts all around, so we'll get that off and then we'll just fire up the camera again. Sometimes for these it's nice to have, well, the figures on me have the 11 mil out. A longer socket. A long 8mm socket. And a bunch of adapters. So that you can actually get on it properly, not strip it. See where the other ones are. A little snug sometimes here in the garage.
Which just sits into a bike shop.
Yep, it's no longer garage. We're just gonna press the gear shift lever down. I don't know if you can see that on the camera.
Yeah, oh yeah, I got it.
There's one bolt down here. It's kind of like in the way. You don't have to take this guy off, but with his new boots, we're gonna have to adjust it anyways when he gets the new boots.
Yeah.
For
those damn Icon boots.
yeah, some clearance, and so you don't have to lift your toe quite so far to get it on there.
Exactly.
It'll be more natural. But meantime, you can just hold it down with your hand and just fire these off. And now they're all loose. Should all be loose. See how bad they're corroded. Oh, not too shabby.
Here.
Yeah, you'll be my magnetic parts tray.
Sure. Oh, yeah, it's not too bad. A little bent.
Are they?
Yeah, a little bit.
You sure?
Look, bent to you?
I don't know. You have to roll it around on the table and find out.
I think it's just the way it looks with the corrosion, maybe.
So she's loose, but she isn't quite off yet. So I'll retract what I said about the shift lever, because it goes through a hole in the side cover. So to get the side cover off,
Gotta take the shift lever off.
gotta take the shift lever off.
Which is fine, might as well adjust it now.
Yeah, we'll roughly adjust it.
Yeah. The boots are pretty fucking large, so.
Now, like, it looks like it's loose enough to come off, but you have to get the whole bolt out, and you'll see why on that spline in a minute.
Convenient oil that spills out.
Oh no, that won't be. Well, it wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah.
Because you know, every couple months you have to oil the workbench. For good measure.
The garage floor in this case.
Yeah. We'll wait till we get the whole engine out. And then we'll dump it all. This is where a nice cheap screwdriver comes in handy. Because you can just carefully
Pry.
pry it a little bit. WD-80 will help too. Stuff hasn't been released to the civilian market yet. I acquire it through a Russian source. Wow, that was way harder than it needed to be. Actually, pro tip. Just put the bolts back where you found them, you won't lose them. Just put them back in. And then toss it on the floor. Now this guy will reveal all its hidden secrets.
Now this is where the clutch and everything. Clutch.
Nope.
No, other side.
Other side.
Right.
It's a wet clutch, so it needs a little. One last one. So how many is there total?
5.
Yeah, that makes sense. This is where your sprocket is, your front sprocket, and your stator.
That looks pretty dirty.
Which is a little rusty. But wow, that's shit luck. When we stopped the engine, it was perfectly top dead center.
Really?
Yeah. So now, as we rotate it, does it show? Ah, it does show rotation. It would help if you go the right way. And there is also a bolt on there too that you can put a socket on. I have the socket around. Maybe I can use it. Figures, it's 16 millimeters.
Large. So you gotta do socket.
16. With my large socket driver. Half drive. Oh, it's a half drive socket.
So why are we taking this off again?
We're not taking it off, we're just using it to rotate it. Because it's easier to rotate it with some leverage than it is just with your hand. So if you just put a wrench on there, then you can rotate the engines and manipulate cams. And there's also marks on here, so it'll tell you when you get to top dead center. Which means the pistons are at their very topmost position. Which is right. So there's an F, which means fire, so that's when the engine fires. When the spark goes through the plugs.
Okay.
And fires. And then there's a T, which is shortly after. Which is top dead center. And then there's a little protrusion here, so that's top dead center. So right now, one of the cylinders will have valves actuated and one will not. And that's how you find out. So this has, the cam is contacting the rockers and compressing the valve springs, and this side it is not. So this is the side that should have play in it, though it doesn't, which is equally suspicious because there's actually supposed to be a bit of clearance between there. Not much. It is very minuscule, but we'll consult the manual and get some figures on that.
Alright.
Valve clearance. I'm going to say, judging if I look at my feeler gauges, I'll find which one I used to use for my Honda and I'll tell you. It is between 0.005 inches and between 0.004 and 0.006 is what they're going to say in the manual. And then 0.005 is what it's supposed to be. But we'll find out.
A brand new manual, all greasy. Needs to.
Not too greasy.
It needs to though. Gives it some character.
Valve clearance intake 0.08 to 0.12, which is 0.0. That's in millimeters. The first number.
And that's for the Honda CM450e.
Yes. But that is 0.003 to 0.005 inches.
Okay.
So I was close. I said between 3 and 6.
Yeah.
So like between 3 thou and 6 thou, and it's actually between 0.3 thou and 0.5 thou. So,
Cool.
and then the exhaust is between 5 thou and 6 thou. So 5. So this will be the exhaust and the intake. Now we'll do 5 on the exhaust and 4 on the intake. And to give you kind of like an idea of how thick that is, you can feel those. It's very thin if you turn them sideways. Turn it nice and...
If I can get the fucking zoom right.
I believe a piece of paper is 4/1000ths of an inch, I want to say. Or 1/1000th of an inch, I'm not sure. No, I think 1/1000th would be too small.
You slimy piece of shit. She ain't zooming right, but that's alright. And she's thin.
Let's see. Let's just get this. Oh, shit. Now we did it. Here.
I'll get
Just
it.
hold it. Bring it in. Hold it in one spot.
Oh yeah.
Now rotate it.
It's that thin.
She's fucking thin, boys. Back to autofocus. And this is supposed to fit between here, between the contact point, and it does not. It's too tight. So what we need, I believe, is 10mm wrench and a flathead screwdriver. Wherever I put my 10mm again. 11. I need to hang these up when I stop. You remember I put the 10mm?
Pocket?
No, I already checked my pockets. Ah! Underneath the rag. Might be 9. I'll check the 9. Gotta get my 9mm, know what I'm saying?
It's not auto-focusing as well right now for some reason.
No, it is 10. It's on auto.
It should be.
Is there something on the lens?
No.
So now what you do, you have to use a wrench and not a socket, so you can try not to block this, but you gotta do what you gotta do to get it loose. So you loosen it, and then you get to a point where you're like ready to snug it up. It's a bit of multitasking. And then you put your feeler gauge inside, in between. You loosen it until you can get that feeler gauge in there. And then you tighten it up on the gauge. That's good. And then lock it down, which may or may not, depends. It may change the difference, or it may change the distance between. So after you tighten it with the wrench, it may get tighter on the feeler gauge, or it may not.